Joe Zarzaur here. You're in a car wreck and adrenaline is flowing like crazy, okay? Because your body's in the flight or fight stage. And so you obviously didn't expect to be in a car wreck. You expected to be at your destination. You're already planning what you're going to do. When you get to your destination and all of a sudden this is suddenly your predicament, right? You're in a wreck. The last thing you're thinking about when you're in a wreck is how this is going to look later. Like what relative legal position, unless you're a lawyer, right? You're not going to be thinking about what's going on legally at the scene. You're going to be thinking about how you feel. You're going to be thinking, did I hurt anybody else? How bad is my car messed up? How bad is their car messed up? Whose fault is this going to be? That kind of thing. One of the critical things to remember at the scene of a wreck is that everybody there is a potential witness, either for you or against you. So I realize that your first concern should be the health and safety of everybody around you and yourself. And you should clear the area, get out of harm's way. You should do all those things first. Notify authorities, call 911. As a second or third thought, maybe third or fourth thought, it shouldn't escape you to be thinking, everything I say to other people here could potentially be used either against me or for me. And so it's probably not the greatest idea to be commenting on, oh, I was late for swim practice, or I dropped my cell phone, was reaching for it right before this happened. Or I'm sorry that I was in a rush, right? You should be careful because all those things could come back and be used against you, even though you're not at fault for the wreck. So let me give you a for instance. Somebody runs a stop sign and T-bones you, and you were late for swim practice, or you were late to pick up your kid, and you were rushing, but you had stopped, and then you went, and then you got T-boned by somebody that ran the stop sign. Well, you may say to the other person, who is probably going to be somewhat remorseful, they're going to say, I'm so sorry, I was in a rush. A lot of people try to make the person at fault feel better. So they'll say things like, oh, we've all been there. Heck, I was in a rush too today. Right? Well, that sounds innocuous at the scene because you're just offering a platitude or placation to the other person for you don't want them to feel so bad about being at fault for the wreck. Well, if you end up being in a case against them, which you could, they're going to use that against you. They're going to use the fact that you said at the scene you were in a rush, right? They're going to take it out of context and they're going to sort of paint the picture that you may have run a stop sign too later. So I realize it's your maybe natural reaction to want to make somebody feel better about the fact that they were at fault for a collision, but it's probably not in your best interest to make statements that make them feel better. So you don't have to pile on and say, yeah, you certainly were at fault. You know, what a crazy thing you did. You don't have to do that either, right? You just don't have to say anything. Say thank you for apologizing, or I appreciate your apology, and be done with it. No need to make them feel any better. No need to tell them that you're perfectly all right, because I'd say a good percent of the people that end up with serious injuries from a car wreck don't feel much of anything at the scene because they have so much adrenaline going. So it's not always smart to try to make the other person feel better by saying, you know what, it's fine, it's just a car problem, I'm great, you're great, nobody's hurt, right? Those are statements that could potentially harm you later, be used against you later, because you actually have no idea what your medical condition is because your body hasn't had time to react to the trauma. So, long and short of it is, be careful what you say at the scene of a collision. Obviously, we deal with people that are not at fault, right? And I'm assuming you're not at fault for this collision. Obviously, if you're at fault, you have a whole nother reason to be quiet. But those people that are not at fault are clients, end up saying things to make the other person feel better or less bad about being at fault, those things can be harmful to your case. Be very careful about what you say to the other person about your injury, about their fault, about your fault potentially. Accept apologies, don't offer them back, right? You can be sorry that a wreck happens and not be at fault for it, but it could sound like you're apologizing for being at fault. So, I'm sorry it happened too, right? Okay, look, they've already apologized for running the stop sign. Accept their apology, move on to something else. Worry about yourself at that point. Worry about your safety from the other traffic. Worry about the police arriving. Worry about whoever else might be in your car. Worry about getting your personal belongings out of the car if it's got to be towed. Worry about other things, okay? Don't worry so much about the other driver that caused the wreck, all right? You can not be rude, but at the same time not be destructive to your own potential case. If you're involved in a wreck and you need legal advice, you can find us on the web at zarzaurlaw.com, or you can call us at 855-HIRE-JOE. Thank you.